We're going to talk about the Bridge Scholars Program with Erin Weston today on GC Conversations. Hello and welcome to GC Conversations, a show where each week we bring in faculty and staff, alumni and friends, and we talk all things Georgia College in this community. Thanks for joining us today on NBC TV4, right here at our Georgia College television studios. Also, we're simulcast on WRGC 88.3 FM, our NPR station right here on our Georgia College campus. So, got a real special treat for you today. We're joined by Erin Weston. Erin is the coordinator of the Bridge Scholars Program. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great. And, you know, as we talk about Bridge Scholars and just to kind of update our audience, one of the things I really want to focus on, which is what this program does and your whole career has been, is student development. So That's kind of the area we're gonna end up in. So, and I normally actually start with a little bit of background about you.
Okay.
But I'm going to switch gears today.
All right.
Okay? I want you to tell us, what is the Bridge Scholars Program?
Sure.
Maybe just kind of give us a 30,000-foot view of that.
Okay. The Bridge Scholars Program is a residential learning community, which means it's a group of students that all live in the same building. That's designed to help transition students to college and help them be more successful in their college experience. So it's specifically for incoming freshmen.
Okay.
It started 6 years ago with about 70 students, and we've grown. This upcoming fall, we'll have 132 students in the program.
Okay, so that's the first time I was going to ask you. Is there a current cap, or is that?
Yes.
It sounds to me like it's getting more popular.
It is getting more popular, and part of that I think is just Georgia College is getting more popular. That's part of it. But yeah, we started as, you know, kind of a floor in a building and then 2 floors, and now last year we filled almost the entire building. We're in building 600 at the Village.
Okay.
And we had about 10 extra spaces that had some other students living there. So this upcoming fall we're going to max out the building.
Okay.
So unless we were to flood into another building.
Okay. You've kind of reached your cap.
We've kind of reached our cap for at least a little while. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the start of this program it's a summer. It starts off in the summer. Right. Tell us about that. Is it a week, a month, 3 months? What is it?
It's 5 weeks long.
Okay.
And for those people familiar with the Georgia College summer calendar, typically classes in the summer run during 2 different summer terms, summer 1 or summer 2. Right. Bridge is sort of its own summer term. It kind of bleeds into both summer terms. Okay. And it starts, this year it'll start June 15th and it ends on July 19th. Okay. And the summer piece of the program is very intensive. So they're taking 3 academic courses. One is a 1 credit hour success course, and then 2 or 3 credit hour core courses. Okay. So they are completing 7 credit hours in 5 weeks. Okay. Where a typical college student is taking 15 credit hours over the course of 15 weeks. So it's a little bit intense, but it's designed to help students accommodate that.
Okay, let me go back to that. First of all, their course selection. Sure. Is that, I'm going to assume that's probably a core course in English, a math, those types of courses? Or?
Right. The way it works is we actually send out an email to all the faculty on campus looking for faculty that are interested in working with this program specifically, because we want faculty that are focused on student development and helping students with this transition, because typically Bridge students are the students that have been identified through our admissions office as needing perhaps a little bit of assistance with that transition. Okay. So there's a separate application process for faculty. Faculty can't just say, hey, I want to teach Bridge. All right. They write sort of an essay about how they would help transition the students, what their goals are. But yeah, we look for core classes that are applicable to pretty much any major on campus. We do typically have math courses offered, which certain majors have to have certain math classes. So we have to be careful about that with some of the Bridge students. Okay. But then we also have a lot of, you know, we've had anything from psychology to America's Diverse Cultural Heritage. What's recently been very popular with Bridge are the GC1Y courses, which are the critical thinking based classes. Right. Those have been very popular. Yeah. So.
You know, as I'm thinking about this, this enrichment ahead of the fall semester has really been a growing trend. And I'll tell you, in the student athlete world, it's almost second nature that you
Right.
want to come on campus that summer to begin that process of getting acclimated
Yeah.
without the crowd there per se.
Absolutely.
You know, so that on day one, I see this as such an advantage, so that on day one, I know where my class is at. I know
Exactly.
what the professor is going to expect, all that type of thing. And I'm able to do that in a very nurturing, and I think nurture is the word I'm really
Sure.
hearing you say here,
Sure.
in a nurturing environment, because even
Right.
from the faculty selection, it's not just I want to come in and espouse my whatever it
Right.
is.
Right.
It's I want to nurture.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of joke with the students, you know, when a student gets nominated for the Bridge program, we obviously get a lot of phone calls from the students and their parents kind of asking about what to expect. And sometimes they're a little concerned that
Right.
it's going to be too much. And I say a lot of students on the upfront, when they find out that they might go through Bridge, aren't necessarily thrilled about
Right.
it. That wasn't really what they had in mind for their summer before college. But when those students finish the Bridge program, I have never had a student say they would have
Right.
done it any other way. You
Yeah,
know, they
yeah.
come back, and when they come back in August, we joke that they're the seniors of the freshman class.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, they know where everything is.
Yeah.
They know the faculty. They know somebody in almost every class. You know,
Yeah.
they're really comfortable on campus.
Well, and I think that's the whole key. If you look at and all your studies show you this. I don't have to pull out a study to
Sure.
make this known, but you know, you're usually about that first week of college. You know, that has a big difference, and
Oh,
if you
yeah.
know what's going on that first week, you're not overwhelmed. And
Right.
this is a situation where they've got a lot of individual attention from day one, and starting even prior to day one, because day one
Right.
starts with your interaction with them,
Right.
well ahead of this June 15 date.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's interesting. We try and connect with them as soon as they're accepted into the program.
Uh-huh.
So right now we're in the process of their signing up for their interviews,
Right.
because they do come and interview to be selected
Right.
for the program. Once they've been selected and they've confirmed that they want to come, the first thing we do is we actually invite them to a Facebook group.
Okay.
And it's Facebook among college students isn't quite as popular as it used to
Right,
be.
right.
But with the Bridge program, it's really their only way to connect
Gotcha.
to each other
Yeah.
before they get here, you know.
Sure.
And it's amazing how active our Facebook groups are in the summer, because they're just so excited and they ask each other a million questions.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So.
Well, very good. When we come back, we're up against a break. I kind of want to go into this whole how you got 132 folks together
Sure.
through a process of living together, eating together, and all that kind of
Right.
thing. Because I'm seeing some special bonds here that
Sure.
are going to last a lifetime.
Sure.
And I think it's really neat because you come in with essentially a cohort,
Right.
and these are probably going to be lifelong friends because you're going through some of the same issues. So.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah, so great. Well, good, Erin. Thank you very much. And so with Erin Weston, I'm Wendell Staten. We'll be right back on GC Conversations.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Jimmy can't sing,
And Tommy can't dance.
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww, they'll walk like a monkey, hop like a bunny. Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants.
One more time.
Jimmy can't sing,
And Tommy can't dance.
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, singing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants, they've got...
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Hello and welcome back to GC Conversations. Again, I'm your host, Wendell Staten, joined by Erin Weston, coordinator of the Bridge Scholars Program. So again, thanks for joining us today, NBC TV4 and RGC 88.3. We're glad you're we're glad you're with us, and we get plenty of comments that you're listening to us and watching us. So thank you for being here. So, Erin, let's tell our community a little bit more about the Bridge Scholars Program. When we left off, you talked about, all being at the village. It's one of the things we talk about. So when the students come in the summer, they actually live there in the village. You said their classes are there. Do they live there as well?
They live there as well.
Okay.
They all move in to their apartments. Village is apartment-style housing, so it's 4-bedroom apartments where they have a full kitchen and there's 2 bathrooms. It's a big step up from my college experience.
Me too. I want to move into this place
I know.
now.
I was walking down the hall with my shower caddy and my flip-flops, and no, none of that. None of that.
So in the village, just for my own information now, the setup is there's 4 separate individual rooms.
Yes.
And then maybe 2 bathrooms to share, sort of deal. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, yeah, in a common area. Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
So they move in there, and essentially, that's where they're going to stay for the rest of the year.
Oh, okay.
So they'll move in for the summer program, and then they'll go home for a couple of weeks before the fall semester starts.
Right.
But since that is where they're going to live, they leave, whatever they want to leave in the apartment.
Right, yeah.
And
okay.
so the big move-in happens in the summer. So when they come back in the fall, it's essentially just like coming back from a break.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, this again creates the familiarity from day one,
Right.
and moving on forward. One of the questions I have is when you have 132 folks, are they all taking the same class? Do you have one big classroom with 132 people, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What we do right away is essentially at the point where we start assigning them rooms and assigning them classes, we break them into smaller groups that we call cohorts. Although we did have a student last year, that was her only feedback from the summer was, can you change it from cohort? I don't like the word. So I don't know what a better alternative is. But so they're into, so we split them into 5 cohorts, which is
5 teams. How about that?
Yes.
5
5
teams. There we go. All right.
Actually, when I'm explaining it a lot of times to students, I was like, think about it like Harry Potter. Like you're divided into houses.
Okay.
Yeah. So
about 25-ish in each
about
group.
25 in a group.
Ballpark. Yeah. Okay.
And in that group takes the same classes together.
Okay.
So they take 3 classes together over the summer. During the fall, the cohorts still remain in a sense, but they don't take classes together. In the fall, we integrate them with the rest of the freshman class.
Right.
So they take their classes together as cohort. We kind of compete for points in different activities throughout the summer.
Okay.
Over the summer we had 18 different events for them to choose from. In the fall, we actually had 27, so we have a lot going on. And that's all, they have to come to like 4 events. So it's not as though it's this huge commitment, but they have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
And they are earning points for their cohort. And each cohort comes up with a color and a mascot. Our summer cohort that won our points competition last year was the fire-breathing rubber duckies.
Okay.
So just go with that. And they have cheers and chants. And each cohort has 2 student staff members sort of designated, sort of team leaders, if you will. One of them is a former Bridge student that we refer to them as a peer mentor.
Okay.
So it's somebody who has successfully navigated the Bridge experience and wants to come back and help lead. And the other person is a CA, so a community assistant from University Housing.
Okay.
What's a little bit different with the CAs in Bridge, though, is that they're there with us for the whole summer experience. So they really bond with the Bridge students as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So the cohorts give them sort of a smaller family within the big Bridge population. The only piece that's a little bit different is that we actually try to not have them live with other people from their cohorts.
Okay.
Because we figure if they're in class together all day
right.
and they go back to their apartment and with the same people all
That's
day,
right.
they might start to hate each other.
Absolutely.
And also, we want them to get to know each other. So if in an apartment there's somebody from cohorts 1, 3, 4, and 5, then they'll say, hey, I have this friend in class.
There you go.
So.
Boy, it's set up so easy, and again, the whole concept of team, and I've now in this, let's say I'm even going to break it down to 25. I've got 25 other folks like me seeking the same experience.
Sure.
I'm living with 4 like me seeking the same experience. So we're on similar schedules. So it really makes sense, and that's why I know our retention and graduation routes of this program are through the roof. The rates are through the roof because it's this team concept and all the intricacies that you just described. It's like camp. It sounds great.
Yeah, I know. And the summer especially does get sort of a summer camp feel to it. And it's funny to watch the peer mentors who have gone through a year or 2 of college say, we know this is great. It's a little bit stressful, but the fall's going to be different. So just prepare yourself for that. But yeah, we're excited to see, you know, last year was the first year that we sort of graduated students that had been bridge freshmen. And so we're excited to see over the next couple of years kind of where our graduation rates head, because our retention rates are very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also you would assume, you know, most of the bridge students perhaps have maybe a lower SAT score or a lower GPA, something that's flagged them for the program. But at the end of their first semester, when you look at the average bridge student GPA versus any other average traditional freshman, it's like 0.02 different. You know, so there would be this expectation that, well, they would be obviously bridge students, but that's not the case. You know, they really thrive in the environment, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, and I just think, again, making everything smaller, and again, that individual attention, which is what I think our university does so well.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is a great example of this, just kind of head on from day one. So tell me also, let's go back. So you're at West Campus, and obviously we have a shuttle running from throughout the campus.
Constantly.
So are the classes at West Campus in the summer?
Some of them are.
Okay.
We only really have one classroom space
at
West Campus.
Gotcha.
So so there'll be two different cohorts will have a class there, because they have a morning class and an afternoon class.
Right.
So one will have it there in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then the other cohorts will rotate to campus and back. Yeah.
And then so the dining hall that's on our main campus.
Right. Yeah, so they, in the summer, they purchase sort of a 25-block meal plan that generally they will use for lunches. They don't have to. They could use it for dinner or whatever, but typically they'll come to campus, eat lunch, and then head home for the day and eat dinner in their apartment.
Okay,
So we teach them how to cook very quickly, how to turn on your oven, how to turn off your oven.
Got it. Okay, good. Well, great. Well, fascinating information. And again, like I say, I think the key term here is student development and nurture, and it's amazing how those two go hand in hand, and the success follows that. You know, it's really not that difficult if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, okay, well, we're up against another break, and we'll come back for our last segment with Erin Weston. I'm Wendell Staten. We'll be right back on GC Conversations.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until no secret that makes you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Hello, welcome back to GC Conversations. I'm your host, Wendell Staten, along with Erin Weston, the coordinator of the Bridge Scholars Program. And we're here in our last segment, Erin, and we've talked a lot about student development and the Bridge Scholars Program. And let's say I kind of went backwards today. Let's talk a little bit about you and how you got involved in this process, because obviously student development is something you're interested in. And first of all, how did you get involved with the Bridge Scholars Program?
Well, let's start from the beginning, I guess.
Okay, let's do that.
I'll pull it way back.
Born in Ohio?
Born in Ohio, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I was.
That was a guess. Okay.
Grew up in Michigan.
Okay, all right.
No, but I went to college as one of those students that had no idea what I wanted to do. But I unfortunately did what you shouldn't do, which is I changed my major repeatedly. So I'd take a class and I'd say, this is fascinating, this is what I'm going to do. And then I take the second class in that major and I go, oh no, this is not, you know. There was a while I thought I was going to be a biological anthropologist because I took a class about monkeys that was fascinating. It's not the way to go. So thankfully, my junior year, one of my mentors, because all the while I was doing all this academic investigation, I was really involved on campus. We had student instructors that helped co-teach our freshman seminar courses. I was an RA on my campus. I helped found a student organization with our alumni association, and
What campus was this?
This is at Kent State,
Kent State.
in
Okay,
Ohio.
all right. Gotcha. All right.
And
which is a large institution,
yeah,
correct?
it's about the size of UGA.
Okay, yeah, so 30,000-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. All right.
And one of my mentors kind of pulled me aside, and she said, "Why don't you go into student affairs?" And I said, "I don't know what that is."
Okay.
And she said, "All this stuff you're doing, you can do that as a career." And I don't know why that hadn't occurred to me.
Yeah.
But that was a breakthrough, very exciting day. So I went to an academic advisor, and I said, I need to graduate because I want to go to grad school and get this degree.
Okay.
So I ended up getting my undergrad in history because it was what I could get done the fastest.
Right.
So, and then I went straight into a master's program in higher education administration and student personnel. It's the very large name of my master's.
Sounds fancy.
Yes, very fancy. And also at Kent State.
Okay.
And during that, I worked in housing, so I was a hall director, and I loved that.
Okay.
And at the time, I would have told you, I am going to do housing forever. I am a housing lifer. This is fantastic.
Right.
I liked being where the students were. I really felt connected with them. It was a great experience. And then I got that painful problem that women have where I decided I want to have kids, right? So,
you feel like you probably couldn't live in a residence hall the rest of your life.
Right. So my daughter was born in a not born in a
I
residence
got you,
hall, but born, and I was still a hall director at the time, so
Okay.
we moved back into a residence hall. We have a great picture of her sitting we have one of those campus rocks that everybody paints and in front of our building. And very quickly thought, I don't necessarily, it was a hard thing to go out and tell students to be quiet because my daughter's taking a nap,
Sure.
So, so I decided to do the full-time mom thing for a little bit, and my husband got his first position in sports information at Lock Haven University in Pennsylvania. So we moved to central Pennsylvania, which is where we lived most recently until we moved to Milledgeville. Very small town. When we moved here, people would say, "How do you like this small town of Milledgeville?" And I'm like, "This is nothing. This is a thriving metropolis compared to where we used to live." Our Walmart in Pennsylvania had a hitching post for horses.
Okay, gotcha. I got you.
Small town.
All right.
So we moved here, and
how long ago was this? Approximately?
This was about 6 years
Okay.
ago.
All right.
And about 5 years ago, I said, I think I'm ready to get back to work.
Okay.
So I started kind of looking around at different positions in higher education administration, student affairs, and a position came available as academic advising and nursing. And I was completely biased as a hall director, where I felt like I was really connected to my students.
Right.
But who really talks to their academic advisors? I thought.
Right,
Because
sure.
as a student, I didn't really talk to mine very often. So I went and interviewed for the position, really liked the people that I interviewed with, got the position, thankfully, and started working, and very quickly found out that lots of students talk to their academic advisors.
Yes, they do.
And especially the way it's set up here at Georgia College, academic advisors teach a lot of the freshman seminar classes.
Okay.
So not only are you seeing them in your advising appointments, but you see them in the classroom, so you really get to know the students.
Right.
And I loved it. It was a really great experience. Working with nursing students was especially interesting because they can obviously be a little bit of a high-stress population because it's very competitive to get into the program. So there was a lot of calming happening in my office, and reassurance, and often sometimes those difficult conversations about maybe this isn't the right path.
Right. Yeah.
But I had done that for about 4 years when the current bridge coordinator left the university.
Okay.
She got married,
Okay.
and the position came up, and all of a sudden I thought, maybe I'd like to try that.
Okay.
And so last year was my first year with the program, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was sort of the perfect balance of the housing experience that I loved with the academic advising piece in it, because I got to go into the residence halls, interact with the students, but then I got to go home.
Right.
I didn't have to live
That's
there.
right.
And if somebody, I don't know, if somebody rips the drinking fountain off the wall in the middle of the night, I'm not the one getting that phone call.
Yeah,
that's not my issue.
Yeah.
So, and I knew enough about Georgia College academics to be able to help the students with that experience. And then starting next year, actually, I'm going to be advising some of our undeclared bridge students. So that'll be nice too, another way to kind of tie in those experiences.
Well, you've got a real passion for the college campus and for watching growth on a college campus. And I go back to your undergrad experience to where you talked about how involved you got.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, and particularly, that's why I asked at a larger university, you know, you made your own, whatever it was, you said, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get involved. And that's continued. Here we are, you know, years later, you continue to get involved.
Yeah, and it's, you know, that's one of those hard things to see in students sometimes when they come into your office and you ask, how you doing? And they're like, I'm all right. You know, it's like, well, what else are you doing besides going to class? And sometimes they'll say, well, I haven't really found anything that's interesting to me. And even, you know, sometimes people say, well, Georgia College isn't that big of a university. Well, you know, we have over 100 different student organizations. So I'm like, there's something out there. And if there's not, it's not that hard to start an organization.
Absolutely.
You know, so what did you like to do in high school? And, you know, what are your interests? And let's find something, because it makes a huge difference. Once they, you know, a phrase I use all the time with students is, we just have to find your people. You know, once we find your people, you know, once you find that group that you're comfortable with and you connect with, it makes the whole thing a lot easier.
Well, getting them involved is again, is the key here, and you do that in your current program, and your whole career's kind of been that. So we're out of time. Thanks for joining us. I had a great conversation about learning about student development in the Bridge Scholars Program here at Georgia College. So good. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, for Erin Weston, I'm Wendell Staten, and we'll see you next time on GC Conversations.